President Donald Trump is a great specimen to think about the development of temperament. Can you imagine what Donald Trump was like as a child? If Donald, as a toddler, did a number 2 doo-doo in his diaper, what would change in his diaper be like? Encouraging him to share toys rather than hoard them all. Would it be easy? It's bedtime, Donald. How do you think he would respond to demands from adult authority figures? Being with him from sunrise to sunset, what would parenting a young Donald be like? Well, thinking about Donald's temperament gives us unique insight to try to answer all of these questions about what Donald may have been like in diapers.
Down with DCE. Yeah, you know me. You down with DCE? Yeah, you know me. You down with DCE? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with DCE?
If you watch the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton from 2016, Trump said that his best asset by far is his temperament.
My question was, why is your judgment any different than Mrs. Clinton?
Well, I have much better judgment than she does. There's no question about that. I also have a much better temperament than she has. You know, I have a much better. Let me tell you, she spent hundreds of millions of dollars on an advertising. You know, they get Madison Avenue into a room, they put names. Oh, temperament, let's go after. I think my strongest asset, maybe by far, is my temperament. I have a winning temperament. I know how to win. She does not know how to win.
Clinton?
Wait, the AFL-CIO the other day, behind the blue screen, I don't know who you were talking to, Secretary Clinton, but you were totally out of control. I said, there's a person with a temperament that's got a problem.
Secretary Clinton.
Woo, okay.
But what does temperament mean? It's not an uncommon word in English, but probably, if you just stop people on the street to ask them for a definition, it would not be a very easy word for many to clearly define. In fact, Merriam-Webster reported that searches for temperament spiked 78 times over the hourly average as the presidential debate caused people to turn to the handy-dandy dictionary in search of the meaning of temperament. First, let's explain temperament. Perhaps you've spent time with a number of infants. How were they alike? How did they differ? How do you compare with your siblings or other children you've known? You may have noticed that some seem to be in a better mood than others, and that some were more sensitive to noise or more easily distracted than others. These differences may be attributed to temperament. For the field of developmental psychology, temperament refers to the innate characteristics of the infant, including mood, activity level, and emotional reactivity noticeable soon after birth. Temperament has 2 parts: reactivity, quickness and intensity of emotional arousal, attention, and motor activity, and self-regulation, strategies to modify one's reactivity. You can think for yourself about your own temperament. Think how you react and potentially regulate your reaction when you are driving somewhere on the freeway. Perhaps, no matter when or where you are in your car, you drive like you are living out the road rage song by Ludacris.
Move! Get out the way! Get out the way! Get out the way!
But let's say it is a beautiful day and you are not in a rush to get anywhere quickly. So you are driving just over the speed limit, listening to some groovy music, and you have your shades on. Then someone drives up right behind you. They are in a hurry and want to drive much faster than you, but they are not able to quickly move over to the fast lane due to the amount of cars on the freeway. So this car drives up right behind you, like really close behind you. Then they flash their high beams at you. They make gestures, not the nice ones, toward you that you can see in your rear view mirror. You've probably witnessed this scenario, right? Well, how would you respond in this scenario? Do you drive even slower? Do you pull over the side of the road, step into your car, and invite them to join you for some face-to-face greetings? Do you yell and throw middle finger gestures back? Or do you offer a nice iMessage apology? Do you toss batteries out of your window toward them? Shout out to my student Kiana. Do you speed up to make them happy? Do you change lanes just to appease them? Whatever you do, your response reveals something about your temperament. Remember that temperament has two parts, a reaction and a regulation. Even if you have a strong reaction that you would like to share with this annoying driver, you have the ability to regulate your reaction. For example, while inviting them to the side of the road for a fist fight may be how you feel inside your reaction, you know that it would not be the safest or wisest action to take. So you just keep on safely driving until they are able to pass you. Your regulated reaction. In a 1956 landmark study, Chess and Thomas evaluated 141 children's temperaments based on parental interviews. Referred to as the New York Longitudinal Study, infants were assessed on 10 dimensions of temperament, including activity level rhythmicity, the level of physical activity, motion, restlessness, or fidgety behavior that is demonstrated in daily activities. Approach, withdrawal, the way an individual initially responds to a new stimulus, rapid and bold, or slow and hesitant, whether it be people, situations, places, foods, changes in routines, or other transitions. Essentially, how someone deals with new things. Adaptability to situations, the degree of ease or difficulty with which someone adjusts to change or a new situation, and how well they can modify their reaction. Intensity of reactions, the energy level with which someone responds to a situation, whether positive or negative. Threshold of responsiveness, the amount of stimulation required for someone to respond. Some respond to the slightest stimulation, and others require intense amounts. Quality of mood, the mood, positive or negative, or degree of pleasantness or unfriendliness in words and behaviors. Distractibility, the ease with which someone can be distracted from a task by environmental, usually visual or auditory, stimuli. Attention span, the ability to concentrate or stay with a task with or without distraction. Persistence, the ability to persevere over time despite challenges. Based on the infant's behavioral profiles, they were categorized into 3 general types of temperament, and what is great is that the names clearly explain the typical behaviors of each type of temperament. The 3 general types of temperament are easy, slow to warm up, and difficult. Chess and Thomas found that most of the children tested were categorized as having an easy temperament. The temperament type of difficult was the least common type. Even without digging into the vault of videotapes from Donald's childhood, we can still get a fairly accurate idea of what he was like as a child. How? His temperament as an adult. You see, temperament is a relatively stable construct. This means that the temperament we have as young children is likely the same temperament we will have throughout our lives, even as adults. Thus, you can reverse it. The temperament someone has as an adult is likely the same temperament they had as a young child. Therefore, the temperament characteristics he displayed back in 2016 on the worldwide stage as someone contending for the position of president, and even now as president, is probably similar to the temperament he showed while in the playpen, contending for toys and adult attention. So, if Donald thinks his temperament is his best asset as an adult, I am curious what his parents would say about his quote-unquote winning temperament, and if his temperament was his best asset as a child. While clues about an infant's temperament can be seen shortly after birth, the stability of temperament as a construct is best measured after age 3. In other words, to have the most confidence in linking early temperament to the temperament someone likely will show throughout their life, it is best to not measure temperament until 3 years of age. This goes back to the fact that temperament has 2 parts. The first part, how we naturally react to situations, can be seen early on, but the second part, how we regulate our reactions, can develop and change with maturity. Comparing how 1, 2, and 3-year-old children regulate their emotions can be drastically different at each of these ages. As a result, the long-term predictive accuracy of temperament is most reliable after age 3. So let's again take a look at the 10 classic temperament characteristics for the 3 temperament types. Consider the video footage you personally have witnessed from Donald Trump, or do a quick internet video search to experience him, and try to see under which temperament type he might fall. Although these temperament characteristics are geared for the behaviors of young children, you may still be able to envision how Donald might have been classified as a child, based on his behaviors as an adult. I hope the vision of Donald Trump in a diaper does not stay in your head too long after this video. Sorry.